Greetings and welcome to this episode of the Heal and Restore
The
podcast.
what?
It got in there. I can't help it. I've been practicing that alcohol. It was
Yeah.
kind of that little, the Heal and Restore podcast. I know I worked so hard to get rid of that heal.
That's so
Right.
funny.
It's original.
An original Randy. That's what it
Well,
is.
I mean, what else do you want? A
Yeah.
fake Randy?
No, I'll take the original. So
Yeah,
that's
okay.
good. That's
Maybe
totally good.
You married me to be original, not fake.
Oh, that's true.
Right.
That's true.
Okay.
Well,
All right,
here we are.
Here we are, month of July. Month of freedom, really. I mean, the 4th of July, 1776, we became a country. Wow.
Now you're turning into a
I think I
historian.
got that right,
Yeah, I was gonna
I hope
say,
I got that
I
right
don't
after
even think
putting it
about
out there.
that.
But anyways, yeah, so this is a new month and
Yeah.
a new topic, and we're going to be talking this whole month about personal development.
Yeah. What
And
was that personal what?
Personal development.
You're squeaky.
Yeah, I'm squeaky today. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds like a dolphin.
Dolphin.
Yeah, on our last cruise with the gang,
Oh,
right?
right.
Oh, no.
That was hysterical.
That's funny.
All right, so let's back to
Um,
personal development.
Right, and this week we're going to be talking about a real important subject: leadership in the home.
Oh, that's good. I love this.
Leadership in the home.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And what does that look like, Kath?
Well, before we jump into leadership in the home, I just
Okay.
wanted to just do a little bit of laundry here.
All right.
So a couple things I just wanted to remind our listeners is that we have our new book out. It's been out a few weeks now, and it's a new book release you can find on Amazon. It's Renewing Bonds, 7 Steps to Restoring Your Relationship. You can find that on Amazon along with our other books that are on there as well.
Mhm.
So please feel free to go and check it out.
And it is on paperback and on Kindle.
Perfect. Yeah, these are just really simple, practical, easy reads that you can apply in your relationships to help improve, maybe open up some areas and explore areas you hadn't thought about. But we're here to help you with that.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
we're excited about that. And then
So just a stepping stone.
yeah,
Yeah.
just a stepping stone. But I also want to just let our listeners know that we still have our 45-minute no cost discovery session.
Yes.
You can sign up for that by going to our website at healandrestorecounseling.com. Just put in your request and we'll be back in touch with you. We can set that up. And if it's not for you, if you know somebody who's struggling and needs some help,
right.
we're happy to help them too. And just what it does is it allows us to get to know the person or the people that are involved.
Mhm.
They get to know us. We want to make sure we're a good fit. We're not going to just take somebody down a rabbit hole.
Right, yeah.
We want to pull them out of the rabbit hole. So
It's an investment of their time and
yes, absolutely.
and their life, and we
Yeah.
just want to make sure that we're all on the same page and that we can fit with each other.
And we have found that in doing this no cost discovery session, all of our clients, we have become friends. We've become close to them in a way that it's comfortable, it's safe. There's no going into this. I'm sure there's a little apprehension at the beginning, but we want them to feel comfortable. This is their livelihood. And like you say, they're investing in their relationships and in their marriages. And it's important to have safe people they can do that with.
Right.
So we want
right,
to create that for them.
Exactly.
So that is what I have on my laundry to do today.
Okay.
But what we're going to talk about today is leadership in the home. And so some of the things that we want to talk about is, defining what leadership in the home looks like. Leadership in the home, it involves various characteristics to ensure a strong and healthy family dynamic. We want to create that foundation. A good leader in the home demonstrates integrity, accountability, empathy, and excellent communication skills. I say excellent communication skills. That is always a challenge in most homes and in most relationships.
Especially in today's world.
Right. But we want to be able to give tools to help you with those communication skills. And they set examples through the actions and behaviors. And remember, our children often, not often, probably 100% of the time, are going to imitate what they see.
Right,
So being a
exactly.
good, healthy role model in the home is crucial.
And that's proven to be true when we work with our couples, because they're basically entering into the relationship with the only example they had, and that was their parents.
Right.
And so and it's nothing against the parents, they're just doing the best they can, but
Right.
there's a choice. We either keep this toxic type relationship stuff going, or we just stop the generational curse.
Yeah,
right?
that's really good.
and when we talk about leadership in the home, yeah, the man, the father is the spiritual leader,
Mhm.
right? But, the wife is also a leader.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's not just the husband, it's not just the wife. And in fact, Ephesians 5:21 says this. It says, "Submit to one another out of reverence for Christ," and that
Mhm.
is respect for Christ,
Right.
right? And so Kathy and I have to submit to one another just out of respect for Christ, just
Right.
like we submit to Christ, right? But here's the important thing I want you to understand that's misinterpreted. Submit. Right? Submit does not mean to be under. Okay. Kathy's not under my thumb, not under my control. I'm not under her thumb, her
No.
under control. Right. The actual Greek translation is hepatoso, right?
Epitoso.
Hepatoso. I think I'm saying that right. It's Greek, so I could be a little off.
Good.
Which means
You're not
to
Greek?
no, I'm not Greek, right?
Okay.
I love Greece, so it's a beautiful country.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
but you don't have that
No,
nationality.
no, I don't. I wish I did. So, no, I'm happy who I am.
Yeah.
Which, anyways, hapatoso, which means to line up behind or stand alongside each other and support each other in all you do.
Yeah, I love that.
So that's what submit means, right? So Kathy and I, husband and wife, we have to have the communication, right? And while the husband usually has the final say in a home, all right, being the spiritual leader, that's not without conversation between the
Right,
husband and the wife and behind the closed doors, not in front of our kids.
right, exactly.
All right.
Yeah. So we're going to talk a little bit about some different characteristics of a good leader. And again, we're talking about the leader in the home. We have to have integrity. We have to show integrity. Remember, you're going to hear me say this over and over. Our kids are watching, and if you're raising children in your home, and even if you're not raising children in your home, there are people that are watching you. So what goes on inside your home is what we want to see outside your home, and vice versa.
It,
And even if you have raised children in your home, even our adult children are still watching. They still see the things that
absolutely.
we're doing.
Yes.
So it's
Yeah.
important to have good, honest integrity.
And that means do what you say you're gonna do. You make
Hmm.
your yes and your no.
Yeah.
And my mentor told me this about integrity. Walk away from every conversation,
Hmm.
right? Leaving the other person's integrity intact,
Hmm.
no matter how bad they've attacked you. And that can happen within a house between a husband and wife. Let's admit it.
Right.
Sometimes it can get kind of ugly between a wife and a husband.
Yeah.
Nobody wants that to happen. But it's like, and if Cat, let's just say Kathy got real nasty with me, my old way of doing stuff was not good at all. I
Your
told
response was not a good response.
there was no integrity in my response. Let me
Yeah.
just put it to you that way. And
Right.
again, kids are watching. So how am I going to respond to Kathy? And how are we going to go forward with this
Yeah.
conversation? Right.
That's good.
So make sure your integrity. If you don't have, it's key in this relationship.
Yeah.
Then.
Yeah, definitely. And then another one is
Yeah.
accountability. We have to be accountable to each other, to our children. Um, you know, we're walking in accountability daily, or we should be
Right.
walking in accountability daily. And accountability is, following through with what you're going to do.
Yes.
If you're going to sit down with your children and read a book, sit down and read a book.
Well, my rule of thumb is never tell your child you're gonna do something that you have no intention of doing.
Yes.
Now, sometimes we'll say something, "Hey, we're gonna go to," let's just say off the wall, "We're gonna go to Disneyland in 2 weeks," right? And then between the 2 weeks, right, something happens,
Hmm.
right? And you just have to postpone it. That's different, right? I mean, a lot of people
But be
grow up,
accountable to a
but
conversation.
be
Yeah.
accountable and, not just say, I gotta work with. Let your children know and your wife and your spouse, husband, let them know why we had to postpone the trip,
Mhm.
right? We're not canceling it, we're postponing it to another
Right.
day. So never promise your child you're gonna do something. Never promise your child you're gonna do something because we don't know what's gonna happen between the day we make that
Right.
promise and the day that day comes.
Yeah, having surprises are always fun.
Absolutely, man, that's it's even better that way.
Yeah, and then, another, characteristic of a good leader is empathy. Having empathy, having patience, having understanding, feeling the heart of the people
Yeah,
in your home is so important because we go through ups and
yeah,
downs. We have emotions. And so, understanding empathy and being able to share and express empathy and receive empathy is really
y
important.
you know, and the one example I always use this one, right? So let's just say your 16, 17-year-old son's been dating this girl since junior high school, and they're just they're madly, they're head over heels in love with
Right.
each other. Mom and dad just absolutely love this girl. Right, and Johnny comes home from school one day and he's got his head down and walks in. That doesn't even say hi to mom like he usually does. And walks in his room, slams the door. Mom walks in and goes, "What's wrong, Johnny?"
Yeah.
Mom, remember Susie? Oh yeah, I mean she's a sweetheart, you know. Well, she broke up with me today.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Well, don't worry about it, honey. There's plenty of fish in the sea.
Yeah. I've heard that.
Yeah, I've heard it too. Plenty of fish in the sea.
Yeah.
That's not what our children need to hear.
No.
Our children need empathy, right? And as parents, we've all gone through those similar situations. And so having an empathy would say, oh my, Johnny, that you know what? I know how hard that is. I experienced that myself when I was in high
Mhm.
school about your age, and it was heartbreaking for me, right? But you'll work through it. It's gonna be hard. Your feelings are real. I understand them.
Yeah.
Just work through your feelings and know that your mom and dad are here for you
Yeah.
at any time to talk about it. Okay, it's really important that we talk to our children that way.
Yeah. And again, it's just like giving to your children what you wish you had growing up,
Exactly.
because a lot of us are still learning, even as adults, differently than what our parents taught us
Yes,
in our own home. So
exactly.
it's almost like we have to figure out all over again what
Well,
it's like to parent,
it's
because
all,
we're not given a book.
yeah, well, it's like my mentor, and we pass this on to everybody we talk to is become the parent that you always
Yeah.
wanted to have in your life.
Yeah. And that includes showing empathy. That's
Absolutely.
great. Yeah, and the other one is communication skills. We know how difficult we struggle
Huh.
sometimes still in our own communication, and many of our clients come to us, and we always ask the question is, what is the biggest thing that you want to work on, or your biggest struggle? And communication is
Yeah.
always at the top.
Well, we know that the statistics are 98% of divorces are because of bad communication.
Yeah.
Right. That's 98. That's number one reason of divorces. 98% poor
Hmm.
communication. Right. And I just want to put this out there. If you're having problems, something Kathy and I can, we can definitely help you with. And in fact, we've done communication workshops in the past, and
Hmm.
one of our clients actually said they want to be married still if
Right.
they wouldn't have
If
this
it
up.
hasn't
So
had been for
and
that.
we're probably going to put those on again. So again, you can reach out to us, and we'll be glad to walk with you
Right.
down that
Yeah, and
that
communication
path.
skills, again, they're developed. They're not
Yeah,
just a known thing. You develop them over time. You develop them by doing healthy, right communicative skills. And a lot of times again, what you see growing up in a home
right.
isn't always the best example. So we have to learn to develop good communication skills.
E-
And that's something that we work a lot on.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And it can be changed. It's just going to take a little bit.
Yep,
Right,
take some work.
right.
And then this one I love. Put a number 10 on everyone in your home's forehead and expect the best of your family members and treat them well. If
Absolutely,
they're a number 10 in your life and they've got a 10 on their forehead, treat them like they're a number 10.
absolutely,
That's just a
right,
kind of a good thing.
absolutely. And I want to say this too. We're not talking about no discipline in the home.
Good.
Discipline is a necessity, but discipline is not punishment, and discipline comes before any type of punishment.
Right.
And if you're disciplining your children properly, you shouldn't have to punish them.
Right. No, that's good. That's
Mm.
really good. And the other thing we talked about is role modeling.
Right.
How we as parents set an example for our children. So, as a child, they're looking up to their parents to be
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
leader, that
Right.
example. So, and we're gonna
Go ahead.
talking about, role modeling as parents, we have to lead by example.
Yeah.
And, there's several different ways that we can lead by example.
I wanted to go back up to the leadership part. That here's the deal with moms. Moms are the nurturers,
Hmm.
right, in the family structure, and fathers are the ones that teach
Sons and daughters.
sons and daughters. We give them the self-esteem. We give them the self-confidence. We teach them how they are to treat the opposite sex and how they are to be treated by the opposite sex.
Good.
All right. So we have to remember that. Um, or something else, and there it goes again. Oh,
Guess it
man.
wasn't all that important.
Well, yeah, it's always important when it comes to this stuff. So, but yeah, anyways, it's just remember that dads that
Yeah.
and moms, you're the one that, um, Well, the fathers are encouragers and moms are the nurturers.
Yeah, that's good. And so talking about it being encouragers is, encouragement and praise. Now, fathers tend to be the encouragers, but moms, that means you can too.
Yeah, no,
It's part of
absolutely.
your
Yeah, yeah,
nurturing
yeah,
responsibility.
absolutely.
And so we want to make sure that we're recognizing and praising the efforts and the achievements of our kids,
Yeah,
whether it's, thanking them for taking the trash out or cleaning up their room or doing well in school. We want to continue to encourage them. The encouragement gives hope, and they want it. I know as a kid, I mean, I was the firstborn, so anytime I felt like I did something good and got praised for it, I wanted to do more. I wanted to be better. I wanted to keep
right,
going.
right. And so this might fall under the communication, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it here because you don't, our kids are gonna make mistakes. Our
Mhm.
wives are gonna make mistakes. Us husbands are gonna make mistakes. So the best way to approach that is with a positive, constructive criticism, and then you end the conversation on positive again.
Mhm.
So you let them know that, hey man, I really appreciate how you've been taking out the trash. Mom hasn't had to remind you or anything like that. But and I'm happy for that. And
Mhm.
I really, really appreciate it as your mom. I know your dad appreciates it too. He tells me all the time. It seems like this last week you've been kind of slacking on
Mm.
taking the trash out. Can you tell me what's going on? Is there some reason you're slacking this
Yeah.
week, or is it just I need some help understanding why? Is there something I can do to help you?
Right.
Right. And then again, you end the conversation with, again, I really appreciate you doing the chores around the house that we ask you to do. You've
Yeah.
been really good about doing it.
Yeah. No, that's really good. I love that. And then the other thing about leading by example is self-improvement. As
Right.
parents, like I said, we're not given a book. We're not given, how put A and B together and that gives you a C child. That just doesn't happen. So we have to learn as parents what we can do to make improvements on ourselves, not only to be better parents to our children and better parents in our home environment, but it's also teaching our kids that they too can have self-improvement,
Right.
that there are things that they can do to continuously improve themselves to become better human beings, which
Well,
in turn becomes better leaders.
I think life is a constant time of self-improvement. I
It
mean,
is.
the one thing we say is we don't believe in failure,
Mhm.
right? The only time you fail is if you don't try or if you don't do anything. I mean, we have to look at everything that we go through in life as a teaching moment.
Right.
What are we gonna learn from this? It didn't go the way I thought it would go. What is it that I can learn so I don't make that same error again and the next time I try to do
Yeah,
something
no,
like
that's
this,
so
right?
good. Yeah, we have to do that.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is, responsibility and accountability is huge in the home. Um,
Effective leaders connect before they
oh,
expect.
did I miss that?
You missed that. Yeah, that's
I'm like
okay.
staring at you. Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really important. Effective leaders connect before they expect. So again, whether it's with your wife,
Mm,
your husband, whether it's with your kids, right? We want to be able to connect with our children and our spouses in a way that they can understand and in a way that they can feel that we honestly do respect them,
yeah, it's an
right?
emotional connection, I think. So
Right,
yeah, that we have to
right.
create. So
But
it's really good.
and then that one can even carry over into work,
Hmm.
right? I mean, especially in the
A
work,
lot of these
a
can
lot
carry
of
over in
no,
all of your environments.
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
We can't just we just can't run into some guy and start expecting these high expectations of them
Hmm.
when we haven't even given ourselves a chance to really truly connect with
Connect.
that
I
person.
love that.
A lot of people don't even connect with their children,
No.
right? So they don't know what they're thinking.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. No, connection is so
right,
important.
right, right,
Connection is necessary for
right.
relationships in
Exactly,
general. Yeah.
exactly.
So, and then the next area is responsibility and accountability. You know, delegating task, how we delegate it amongst our children or amongst our family members is super important, and it
Mhm.
needs to be done in a fair way. Age appropriate responsibilities are so important. And as they grow out of that responsibility, give them a new responsibility that's age appropriate as they're developing. But we have to make sure that we are getting our children involved in the task of the home. It's not just the parent's
It's not
responsibility.
just the parent's responsibility, and I look at our grandchildren, and I'm gonna kind of brag on our grandsons, right? I
Their
mean,
characters.
they're characters, but man, they get right in. They'll do outside with dad
They
doing
pick
whatever.
up the poop.
They pick up the dog poop. You don't even have to tell them. They pick up the dog poop. Maverick was out back when Garrett was putting those pavers down. He was out digging.
You know,
Roland, I'm sorry. Roland was out back with Garrett digging up the dirt so they could put the pavers in. And he was what, 4 years old?
Yeah.
5 years old? They're both young kids, 3, 4, 5 years old.
They're 4 and 5.
They're 4 and 5.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah, well, grandmas are responsible for all this stuff.
Yeah.
Grandpa's accounting. We got other things on our mind. But anyways, and that's a direct result of good parenting and what we showed our kids.
I like when we saw Maverick climbing up the ladder.
Oh my God. My son-in-law were at our house and we got a 10-foot ladder. We had high ceilings. And he's teaching Maverick, what was he, a year or two, maybe year and a half old, maybe, how to climb up the ladder.
Well, he was teaching him safety.
Oh my God. And he's been climbing ever since.
That is true.
Well, we were at the house and he was out back on top of the ladder with his hammer and nails, right on the misting system, all by himself. Nobody was out there. It's like, oh my God, the kid's gonna die.
Hey, but he was learning responsibility, safely being responsible.
And the girls too. The girls also, they're all really good, responsible kids.
But it's important though that we come together as a family, because again, we're talking about leadership in the home. Remember, we're raising children to become adults, to become a mom, to become dad. So it's so important that we do that. And then, holding each other accountable as husband and wife, and as well as the family members, is encouraging a culture of accountability and support.
Absolutely.
It just makes for a smooth running ship. Let's put it that way.
Right.
And you can't just go out there in the big ocean and throw them out there and let it go.
No,
they got to have some direction.
And when it comes to children, we're going to support our children, even when they fall, even when they trip. I mean, we're still going to support
accountability that's required.
We're going to encourage them, speak life into them to build them back up.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. And that falls under communication, just where you kind of led right into that. So we want to encourage in the home that open and honest discussion within a family. One of the things that I appreciated about us, and I don't know how, why, what, but we always sat down at the table for dinner. And it seemed like that was our open discussion time with the kids. Sometimes there was not a lot being said, sometimes there was, but it was always an opportunity for a check-in through the day. How's everybody doing? If anybody was struggling, we want to create a safe environment so that if the kids do go through something difficult, that they feel safe, that they can come to their mom or they can come to their dad, and creating that's a sign of a good leader, when you are totally open and vulnerable to receive what they have.
Yes. And then the one thing, especially with fathers, right? Be vulnerable with your children. Be transparent with your children. Don't be afraid to share your life stories with them so that they can, so often children look up to our parents like, they can do no wrong, but we need to be transparent and vulnerable with our children. At age appropriate levels. I mean, our children were old enough, we let them know what happened to me as a child.
Yeah, we did.
It was critical that happened so that they're aware, and now they're more aware, more keen of what's going on in this world. So fathers,
if we don't open up healthy discussions, our children
they're never going to be able
to either.
And we can't discount these stories, right?
Right.
Don't be taking your children's voice away by telling them that, who do you think you are?
Or even taking your own voice away by not being vulnerable and sharing.
Right, exactly.
That's the other thing too. The other one that's really important part of communication is active listening. Rennie, this is one of the things that you and I talk about a lot, or actually you are like the expert in active listening. But what are some techniques for active listening and being able to validate family members' feelings?
Well, when you're going to have a discussion with your wife or your children, and I'm going to step back just 1 second. When we're talking about family right now, here's what's important to understand. Your family, if you're married with children, let's just say there's a husband, wife, 2 children. There's 4 people. That is your only family.
That's your core.
That's your core family. Outside of that is extended family. And your main ministry or purpose is family.
Yeah, family.
Okay. All right. So when it comes to active listening, you sit down somewhere turn the TV off, turn your computer off, turn your phone, I just get rid of all the
Be
electronics.
present.
Be present in the conversation.
Mhm.
Oftentimes when we're listening, we hear about the first 2 sentences, and then what are we doing?
Right, for me, for the longest time, I was ready to give you all the answers.
Right, exactly.
I never heard the end of it.
We're conjuring these these answers up in our head.
Yeah,
No, we need to start listening to hear what's really being
yeah,
said, and to hear how the person, how our children or partner, how they are feeling,
yeah.
right? We listen with curiosity, a lot of curiosity, let them talk.
Ask
And
questions.
then we ask curious questions.
Yeah,
We don't start pointing fingers and don't say you should have done this or whatever. We start asking curious questions so that our children or even our spouse can start thinking for themselves. They
right.
have the answers. They just need us to bring them
Somebody
out.
to pull them out
Right.
of them. So,
Exactly.
and then the other part of communication is
It's
conflict resolution.
right.
And that just, again, takes time to sit down, be present. And then if there is a need for resolution, is bounce back and forth.
Yeah.
Come up with a good solution that works for everybody involved in that conflict.
And
It's not a I win, you lose.
no,
It's about finding that cohesiveness in conflict that creates a calmness and a resolution, that things aren't just being left undone.
undone.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, we just sweep this one underneath the rug too. The
yeah,
heck with it.
no, and
We'll be okay tomorrow. This is a good time for discipline and conflict resolution when it comes to our children sometimes can be you let them pick the consequence,
mhm,
right? You give them a handful of, 3, 4, 5 things, and if let's just say if they don't do,
yeah,
certain A, B, or C or do whatever it is, then the consequence is gonna be you pick the consequence. That way you can't be mad at me
yeah,
because I took your car away because you're 16, you just got your driver's
yeah.
license, and that's okay. So you see the difference?
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
they having
uh,
them pick that, but there are ways to
right,
have conflict resolution come out where there's peace within the home. So that's the key
right.
in that.
Acts 4:20
Yeah.
says that we cannot but speak which the things which we have seen, right? So the only thing we can speak about is what we have seen at the present moment,
What we're where we're
right?
at,
Where
where
we're
we're at
at.
today.
We can't bring up the past. The past is done and over with. You
Mm,
can't change the past. All we can work on is is the issue that happened today.
that's good.
That's what we're going to speak about. Everything else is an experience that has gone. It's
Mm,
over with.
yeah,
So we haven't experienced other than not we haven't experienced anything else other than the issue on hand at this
today.
present moment.
Yep, in the moment.
And we have to stay focused on that.
Yeah, that's
That's
good.
it.
That's good. Yeah, so this was good. This is good stuff. So as we kind of close this up here, there's a lot of things that we just want to kind of reiterate here is we want to remember that character matters. How we show up in our home matters.
Right.
Role modeling, how we role model to our children
Mhm.
matters. We have to lead by example.
Exactly.
It matters.
Right.
We have to have responsibility and accountability amongst ourselves as husband and wife. And then we need to show our children the
Because
responsibility and accountability.
if we don't have accountability and responsibility, how are our children supposed to have
So
it? 'Cause
how are
that's
they
what they're
expect
looking
to have
it's
any?
like,
Yeah,
don't do as I say, do what I tell you. Or don't do as I do what I say,
yeah,
right?
no, that doesn't work.
That doesn't work.
Not healthy.
That's
Yeah,
you're teaching your children how to lie right off the
yeah.
bat. No
And then, of
accountability.
course, creating that open and honest
Yes,
communication.
absolutely.
So all of these things are they're just key points. And, no, I don't know that we can all do them 100% of the time
No,
perfectly,
no.
but we have to strive to do better in these areas. If you're
Absolutely.
struggling right now. So this is a
It, it,
call, this is a call to action.
and what you just said, let's start becoming part of the solution
Mhm.
instead of part of the problem.
Well, here's a call to action for that
Okay.
then.
All right.
We want to encourage your listeners to reflect on your leadership in your home and make positive
Right.
changes.
Exactly.
If you have listened to this podcast, I'm going to do this, put this out there. If you've listened to this podcast and you realize that there are some things that you have to do to become a better leader in your home, start implementing those,
Mhm.
and then send us an email through our healandrestorecounseling.com website. Let us know what positive changes you have made and what the benefits of those are, not only for yourself, but for the rest of the people in your home.
Right.
I think it would be a great call to action. So get out there, people. Let's start making some changes,
Absolutely.
making some improvements.
And if you're struggling and you don't really know how to make some of these
Mhm.
changes, that's all right. That's what Kathy and I are here
Yeah,
for.
definitely.
So again, you can reach out to us. We'll set up that no cost 45-minute discovery session and see how we can help you and hopefully move forward with you for a nice 12 weeks.
Yeah,
At
no.
least 12 weeks.
Yeah.
But
And I will just say too, you mentioned the 12 weeks. We have been really diligently working, and we have been able to be in a position this year that we are offering that 12-week coaching program for a 50% discount.
but you get 100% of
But you
the
get 100% of the work, you get
right.
100% of us. So
Yeah,
if you're
exactly.
interested in that, now is the time to do this. 2024 is our year to offer that out. Whether you're an individual, if you're in a marriage or in a
Right.
relationship, give us a call or go to our website at healandrestorecounseling.com and contact us through there, and we'll reach out to you and set you up for that consultation.
And I want to put this out there too. We help a lot of couples,
Mhm.
marriages, right?
Yeah.
But also we work with people on addiction, and then I work with people that have had unresolved childhood trauma,
Right.
sexual abuse, physical, emotional, spiritual abuse. I've been there, I've done that, and I've been considered an expert in
Yeah,
that field.
that's good.
So we also
Yeah.
work with all that
Individuals as well.
individuals
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah. So
Um,
good stuff, honey.
yeah,
Thank you for being the leader in our home.
you're welcome.
Yeah.
I know.
It's been a lot of years of practice, let's put it that way.
A lot of
And we're
years of
still working
practice,
on
and we're
it.
still working on it. She's a woman, she wants to take the lead. I mean, that's just the way it is. But I'm gonna blame that on Eve.
Here we
No,
go.
no,
That's a whole
I'm
nother
gonna blame it
podcast.
on Adam and Eve, because actually Adam's the one that dropped the
That's
ball.
a whole nother
Adam's the
podcast.
one that dropped the ball that made Eve so controlling, which
Yeah.
means, never mind, I'm not gonna go there
All
right
right.
now. I could
You're
go,
good.
that's another podcast.
Yep, that's right.
All right, so remember this, and nobody tells you they love you today. Randy does.
Kathy does.
More importantly, God does. Be blessed, everybody. Have a marvelous week, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.